In the last episode of Project Mk2 Mr2, I fitted the battery the wrong way round. I then almost died of hypothermia. The car wouldn't start, it's had an issue with starting for a while now. To diagnose the issue, we scanned for fault codes, but nothing came up. The battery being out probably cleared all fault codes. I then tested all of the high tension cords to make sure the resistance values were still within spec, and they all were good. I then took off and inspected the distributor cap to see if there was any moisture inside. The car eventually managed to start, but the issue was still not solved. So in this video we are going to continue and hopefully fix the cold start issue on the Mk2 Mr2.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We've got the Mk2 Mr2 and we're just going to continue where we left off last time. So when I was actually editing last time, I noticed that the ignition coil here is cracked, and that is actually that could potentially be a major issue, because if moisture and water is getting in there, then that could be the whole cause of our cold start issue. So we'll take this off and give it an inspection. There's just one bolt up here, a few connectors. We'll just take everything off. The ignition coil off, and you're not going to believe what this looks like. Look at that. That's crazy, because see, when it was in the car I could only see the small crack from the top. I didn't even notice that, but underneath the whole thing's completely destroyed. Look at that there. Alright, I'm going to send a picture of this to my friend on WhatsApp. Okay, so he's replied and he said, "That is nicely somethinged. How is that still working?" And that's my thoughts exactly. How is that still working? That is crazy. So since it had a crack on top, I've actually ordered a replacement, so we'll go ahead and we'll put the replacement on. But if you look at those screws, they're really rusty, so I don't even know if I'll be able to get this bracket off. I might have to drill them out, but then I'll need new screws, so we'll see if we can get them out, and yeah, we'll try. But what I want to do now is I want to actually test this to see if it's still within spec. And guys, the ignition coil is so important, because this takes the battery voltage of about 12 volts and it takes it to the thousands of volts it needs to send to the distributor to send to for the spark. So what we're going to do now is we're going to resistance check the old ignition coil to see if it's within spec. I've got the workshop manual open as always. I know you guys can't read that, but I'll read it out for you. It says primary coil resistance should be 0.4 to 0.5 ohms. So we'll measure that one first. And there's your ohm meter, and that's it testing the ignition coil. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So the primary coil is just between these two here. So I'm just going to put the crocodile clips on, and then we'll measure the resistance. That's one on. And that's two on. There we go. Get our multimeter. And there we go. About 1 ohm. So that's out of spec. That was meant to be between 0.4 and 0.5 if I'm correct. Secondary coil is meant to be in the kilo ohms, so we'll move our meter up to the kilo ohm range. And let's measure the secondary coil. So the primary coil was slightly out. Let's measure our secondary coil, see if we can get a reading for it. 9.2 kilo ohms. It's actually kind of within spec. It's really close to being. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll go and grab our new ignition coil. Let's do that. Jump inside. Grab our new ignition coil, which is resting on the Mk1 at the back. Here it is. I'll just pull it out of the box. You guys can look at the 4AGE while I'm pulling this out of the box. Okay, and here's our brand new ignition coil. Delphi, and you can see the kind of holes for the screws, and I think that's what needs to touch the bracket because it grounds itself against the bracket. And again, we'll just check the values and we'll see if the new one's within spec. That's interesting, the new one's up at about 12 ohms, where it should be between 0.4 and 0.5. So, I mean, this isn't an OEM part, but I don't know, could be various factors. Let's measure the secondary. That's within spec, 12.6 kilo ohms for the secondary coil. For the primary coil again. There's a lot of feedback for the primary coil, so we'll just leave that one there, but secondary coil was within spec. We'll take our readings with a grain of salt and we'll go ahead and try and install our new ignition coil. So what I want to do now, guys, is I want to take this bracket off, but the screws are really rusted. There, 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 and there. We have our completely destroyed ignition coil. And you can even see them there, like there and there. There's a lot of rust. So I'll try and get this off. If I can't, then I might need to order new screws, drill these off the bracket, and then reuse the bracket. But we'll try and we'll see if we can get it off. Just spray it with some WD-40 first. Help make the process a bit easier. Hopefully get this old ignition coil off, and what I'll do is I'll use the wire brush just to get the kind of screws at the back, but to be honest, this wire brush is quite big, so actually done okay cleaning that one up. Because the two inside of there, the wire brush, I can't really get it in to get it. I got these two on the outside, so yeah. I've got my screwdriver. This is actually from the Mk2 Mr2 toolkit, which I'll show you, because the Japanese ones actually center slightly different to a Phillips screwdriver. I'm hoping I can get this off because then I can fit the new ignition coil. If I can't get it off, then we're gonna have to order in some new screws, but we'll try our best. Okay, here goes. I'm just gonna put a lot of pressure. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much rust. It's like, it's not even turning. Like, the heads have destroyed already. Like, that head's completely gone already. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance. They're too rusted. I didn't stand a chance of getting this off. I think I'm just gonna have to drill them out. See, but there's no point in even doing that now because I don't have new screws to put in to fit the new ignition coil. So I think that's gonna be the end of this video, guys. I know it's a short one, but I need to get new screws before I drill this out. I won't even be able to fit the new one. So I think I found the problem to the cold start issue, and the problem was the ignition coil. As you can see, it's completely destroyed. I don't think, if anyone's had an ignition coil that was worse than this, drop a comment down below. But yeah, sunny Scotland. It's a bit windy out here, but that's that. So thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed it, guys, hit the subscribe button and we'll continue with the Mk2 Mr2 in the next video. I got a bleed nipple kit for the Mk2. Just cost a couple of quid, so I'll do a full brake bleed soon and we'll get these on. And also I got some of the slider bolts for the rear calipers because the ones fitted to the car were the wrong ones. I'll show you them when we replace it, but that's just two kind of things I got for the car. And yeah,